If you have been out of the loop this week, there is one topic that has taken over the cruise world, and that is Carnival's new loyalty program. Let's talk about the good and bad of the program, what loyal Carnival cruisers are saying, and my thoughts on how this is going to affect the popular line. Ahoy, travelers. It's Amy here with your weekly Cruise News Roundup and my thoughts on some of the biggest stories of the week. Or maybe just one big story this week. Now let's quickly break down the main ins and outs of the new loyalty program. 1. The name is changing from the VIFP, Very Important Fun Person Club, to Carnival Rewards. 2. The changes will go into effect when Carnival Rewards launches on June 1st of 2026. 3. Current VIFP Club members will eventually be prompted to opt into the new program and agree to its rules and regulations. 4. Guests will keep the same membership number, which will be called their Carnival guest number. 5. Guests will keep their current levels for 2 years after the switch, with Diamond level guests keeping their level for 6 years. After that, guests will revert to how many stars and points they have earned under the new program, and we're going to talk about that later. 6. Points can be earned on various purchases made through Carnival and then used to pay for purchases in the same category. 7. Status qualifying stars are how loyalty will be determined. So they can be earned by spending money on cruise fare, gratuity transfers, Carnival vacation protection, pre-cruise, and onboard purchases, as well as on the number of points earned in the casino. Stars will be earned over a 2-year period and then reset at the end of that 2-year period. 8. The gift for Platinum and Diamond members plus the pin for Gold members are going away. It is unclear what other changes might be coming down for other loyalty perks. 9. The Carnival MasterCard is also changing. When the new Carnival Rewards program launches, any fun points that card members have will be combined with their Carnival Rewards account. So that's our little wrap up. Let's get into it. Probably what cruisers want to know most is how to earn stars. Well, you get 3 stars for every $1 spent on eligible Carnival purchases, along with 1 star for every casino point earned. Now, considering Diamond is 100,000 stars, that means each person will need to spend almost $17,000 a year in order to earn and maintain Diamond status. Now, this still leaves guests with a lot of questions that I am sure will be addressed as time goes on. Carnival brand ambassador John Heald spent several days and many hours addressing comments and questions over the new loyalty program. I do understand that some over the years have complained about loyalty programs not taking into account the amount of money being spent. I can understand that, as you can have one couple spending close to $10,000 or more on the same ship as another couple spending closer to $1,000. Both couples have earned the same points, 1 per day spent on the cruise. I also understand that there have been so many guests earning Platinum and Diamond recently that Carnival has had issues with too many top-tier loyalty guests on some of their cruises. So many that they have had to, on occasion, do away with some perks like priority boarding and priority reservations. Personally, I think that days on board should still count for something. Even if it was only like 50 stars per day that did not expire. Not that 2-year expiration, that you got to keep it for however long this program goes on. Something. And by something, I mean something that isn't taken away every 2 years. That is probably one of the biggest issues people have. There will be Milestone rewards, but those earn cruise points, not stars. Plus, as far as I can see, they don't take in previous sailings prior to the launch. So 50 nights will earn guests 5,000 points, along with a special sail and sign card. Is that card just for that one cruise that right after they've met that milestone? I'm not sure, but I assume so. So for every 100 nights, guests earn 10,000 points, a commemorative gift, and another special card. Carnival President Christine Duffy stated that as long as there is activity within a 3-year period, points will not expire. So guests can also choose to accumulate their points over time and save them for more valuable rewards. So use them or lose them. I am assuming that also affects the Milestone rewards, but haven't seen that explicitly stated. So for those who spend a lot when cruising, this new program could be a great thing for them. Those on the lower status tiers are probably not as upset at the changes, nor are those who cruise multiple lines. Now, I'm on the gold tier and still need 35 more days to move up to platinum level. And since we didn't have any Carnival cruises booked, as we're trying out other lines right now, I wasn't about to hit that higher level anytime soon. Either way, I have never thought that Carnival had very good loyalty rewards when compared to other lines. Royal Caribbean has some pretty good loyalty perks. Plus, they status match across all 3 Royal Caribbean group brands: Royal Caribbean, Celebrity Cruises, and Silver Seas. Now, the question becomes, will other cruise lines follow suit and make similar changes to their loyalty programs? If they're smart, I think they'd be better off to hold off and wait to see how this affects Carnival's bottom line. Carnival's President Christine Duffy sent out a letter via email to current and former Carnival guests. I checked my email. I didn't get it. However, I did get an email that led me to a link about the new program, but nothing from Carnival's president. I didn't ever see that letter. I was, however, able to find some quotes from the letter posted online. Duffy said that while the VIFP program worked for a growing company with a modest customer base as the world's most popular cruise line, the current program does not allow us to deliver the recognition to guests based only on sailing frequency. At first, I wasn't really sure what she was saying, but if I'm reading this right, I think Duffy is making a comment about how lifetime points mean that guests can choose to not sail on Carnival for years and still maintain their current loyalty status. She went on to say that when so many guests have elite status, it is much more difficult to make everyone feel special. These realities will only continue to erode the recognition and rewards of the current VIFP Club program, and we feel that change is necessary in order to better recognize our guests and give them more choice in how they are rewarded. Now, many realized that this was an issue, but assumed that Carnival would add on higher tier levels, not revamp the entire program, and kick those that are on the top tier back to the bottom again, which is what is going to happen. So what are your thoughts about people being able to potentially reach high status levels without even stepping foot on a cruise ship? Yeah. So since purchases made with the Carnival MasterCard earn card holders stars, someone could use their card for regular everyday purchases and earn themselves a lot of stars without ever stepping foot aboard a ship or even purchasing anything that has to do with cruising. At least that's how I'm reading this. Now, for me, that is one of the biggest issues I see, and if I were Diamond or Platinum, I would feel like this was a slap in the face after spending years cruising on Carnival. For Diamond members who have spent over 200 days on board Carnival ships, often over the course of decades, they don't do this in a couple years, that could be a huge slap in the face. Now, has Carnival made a mistake with this change? Will they make any changes to the new program to appease those higher tier guests who are very upset? I don't know. I think it's all going to boil down to how much this affects their bottom line. Now, in one of his posts, John Heald said, "The main takeaway from my conversations with very senior beards," that's what he calls the people higher up in Carnival, "was that we announced this a year before it takes place, which gives the beards some time to look at your thoughts and comments and see what they can do." Will they? Will they see all the people saying that they have booked their last Carnival cruise and decide they need to make some changes to this new pay-for-play program? Now, I found a few comments from John Heald's page that I wanted to highlight. Carnival built their brand on loyalty. Those of us that have cruised with you and got to platinum and diamond status stayed loyal to Carnival. Now, Carnival has made it clear that it is no longer about loyalty, it is now about the money. The corporation is catering now to the big gamblers and the wealthy cruisers. What a darn shame. There's no incentive to cruise exclusively with Carnival any longer. The corporation made it clear my almost 30 years of loyalty to Carnival means absolutely nothing. I apologize that I am not wealthy enough or can't gamble enough or use my Carnival credit card enough to keep my status any longer. Let the beards know we got the message loud and clear. Now, John Heald had a response to this and he said, I can see how frustrated you are. I want you to know that we absolutely care, and I want you to know that I will make sure your comments are seen by the right people. Now, I honestly felt bad for John Heald. It will be a wonder if this doesn't send him into retirement. I would. He had nothing to do with this decision, but he is taking the brunt of some people's anger. He's taking the brunt of most of the anger, honestly. I saw some commenters making claims that the loyalty levels were supposed to be lifetime, but the terms and conditions of the VIFP Club state that CCL reserves the right to alter or modify the club at any time in CCL's sole discretion without notice to members. Therefore, those commenting that Carnival is looking at a lawsuit didn't check out those terms and conditions, and honestly, most people don't. This next comment really stood out to me. We have cruised for 25 years to get to our loyalty level. Since we don't spend a lot on board and are there, as you say, to have fun, our loyalty now disappears. There has been a lot of discussion about how cruising should be for fun and not the perks, which I agree with, and I have long said that sticking with one line solely to earn loyalty status is not a great idea. However, it does seem as if those who cruise just to have fun without spending a lot of extras, but have been loyal to Carnival, are being punished. Carnival can spin this any way they want, but unless someone takes a lot of cruises, just having fun without spending a lot on extras is not going to allow them to earn or maintain any loyalty rewards. Another commenter said it has been well documented that it is easier to keep a customer than to gain a customer in business. A short experiment could help the beards relearn this or confirm that people are just overreacting. Allow free cruise cancellations on all scheduled cruises with full refunds of deposits and payments for the next 30 days and measure the impact, then make a data-driven decision to proceed, stop, or change the program differently. Honestly, that is not a bad idea, but I bet it would be bad for Carnival's bottom line. Cruisers may not cancel anything coming up soon because they wouldn't be able to replace it, but how many would be canceling their 2026 cruises? Now, in response to that previous comment, one cruiser said, "There's nothing Carnival could change or restore that would convince me to stay loyal at this point. I have one more cruise booked and I will hit diamond after 20 years of cruising Carnival. The fact is, the company told me loud and clear that I am a burden in the top-heavy program and must be eliminated. That bell cannot be unrung." Now, I think you will find that was a fairly popular sentiment, especially among those in the higher tiers. There were some good questions like what happens when there are 3 people who book a cabin? Who gets the points? If we're talking about 3 friends, then they split the cost even though the third person sails for less or even for free. Even John Heald said he didn't have the answer to that, saying, "I'm going to get that answer for you in the coming days. It's something I'm waiting for my colleagues to send me the details on, and I promise I'll let you know as soon as possible." Now, one of my good friends grew up in a Carnival family. Her parents are Diamond, and she is right up there as well. I asked her what her thoughts were about the new program, and she said that she and her husband will go on the cruise that they have booked currently and probably not go back. Her parents are already looking at booking a cruise with Royal Caribbean after decades of sailing exclusively on Carnival. Neither one of them, her parents, her, or her husband, have ever been on anything else besides Carnival. Now, since my friend and her husband don't spend much extra on top of the cruise fare, there's no way that they would be able to hit almost $17,000 each every year to maintain their status. So she felt like they were being punished for not buying the drink package or for gambling in the casino. Like me, they do have the Carnival MasterCard, but only use it for cruise purchases. That's what I do. I don't use it for my everyday purchases. One thing that she said to me that really stuck out was that loyal cruisers are still there because they did get treated well. They all knew that Royal, NCL, MSC, etc. have better ships and go to different places, but they stayed because of the perks that they wouldn't be getting elsewhere because they didn't have the high loyalty level elsewhere. To her, priority embarkation and debarkation, along with priority dining and reservations, were important. Now, I saw so many comments on John Heald's page making similar statements. Those who are at Platinum and Diamond feel like this was done specifically to reduce their numbers. They are upset and many will not be back. And I honestly don't blame them. When you have put in the most time, you're talking 200 or more days on board a Carnival ship for Diamond members, and you're the ones that are being told are the problem. That's hard to take in. Honestly, I think Carnival is a young person's cruise line. That doesn't mean that older people don't enjoy Carnival, but I do think that many of the older people that you see on a Carnival ship are there because they are Platinum and Diamond. They are being rewarded for sticking with the cruise line, so they continue to sail only on Carnival for all those perks they've earned. How many of those 60 and over are going to now take their money over to Princess, Celebrity, Holland America? Honestly, I'm guessing some are upset enough that they won't even book on other Carnival Corporation lines, which means Princess is out as well. Now, for those who are upset and looking to jump ship, see what I did there? For those who are looking to book elsewhere, I would suggest trying out MSC before your current VIFP status is gone. MSC will match your loyalty status, so if you're even considering booking with them, do it before the program changes. Get that high MSC loyalty level locked in. Now let me know your thoughts on Carnival's new loyalty program. Will it affect you? If so, are you going to remain loyal to Carnival or start trying out other lines? Now, a short life update this week. We've had a long news segment, so short update. I'm down to 12 ducklings. Now, I'm not sure what happened to 3 of them, but one day they just were gone. So since then, I have been obsessively counting them every time I see them. Every time I go out in the yard, I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, 10? Where? But they move around so fast. It's really hard to count them. So far, last count, still 12. They are now swimming in the duck pond, which is super cute. My nieces and I had another girls' trip this week and went to several nearby springs. So we live close to and are surrounded by the Mark Twain National Forest. So we went out to several historic spring sites that you can go to. We had a great day and quite the adventure, especially when we hiked down to the last spring on our list. It said it was a 3/4 of a mile hike, but I think that must have been calculated as the crow flies instead of taking in the switchback trail that went down to the spring. Oh my gosh, down and down and down. I knew the whole trip, I'm like, this is going to be horrible trying to make it back up. My watch said that I had walked over 3 miles, so I'm skeptical of the forestry department's measuring system. Now, I know that will be the first and last time I make that hike. I am too old and too out of shape for hiking up a hillside, especially when I don't have cell signal to call for help. Let me know in the comments if you did anything interesting this week. Well, are you ready for more information on cruising? Why not stick around and check out this video and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.